to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. It's time!
Welcome back, the Church of MMA podcast. I'm Tabor Cragen.
I'm Mason Knight.
Holy shit, man. What a night of fights.
It was.
It was a crazy night.
It was a crazy night and a crazy, one of the first things that we've ever done on this podcast. We had a fight companion that night, too.
Yeah. And I can confidently say is we were accurate.
Yeah,
towards the end, we were definitely accurate in that
night,
podcast. Yeah. And that was the fact that we were drunk.
And we did not need to be on mics judging fights or calling fights or saying who won or lost. Because I just going back, half the time I wasn't paying attention to the fights because we were trying to keep the conversation going too. Yeah, last time I tried to do that.
Yeah, I had a good time. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
Just maybe next time I shouldn't bring that much liquor.
No, maybe not. Maybe we don't have as much. But nonetheless, it was a good time.
It was a good time.
It was fun to do, too. Obviously, Fight Companions are originally, a Joe Rogan thing.
Yeah.
He does them on his podcast, but I think it's fun to incorporate. We get to hang out with friends, watch fights, and just talk about, we talked about a bunch of different things.
Yeah, we really did.
It was a good time.
We went from Netflix to coronavirus to conspiracy theories. I had a good time.
Yeah.
And it's only gonna get crazier the more we
we'll probably
get
different guests in, different podcasts, maybe a few musicians, come out, hang out for a little while, watch a couple fights.
Yeah, and what a great night of fights to start off with.
Oh,
this was the card that was so hyped. This was one of the most hyped cards of the year, and in some ways it lived up to it, and in other ways it definitely did not.
Mm-hmm.
But a little bit of a controversial night in mainly the co-main event and main event. Other than that, there weren't too many controversial things, but it most definitely ended a little sour, and we'll get into that main event. It definitely ended a little sour in most people's nights, but I mean, in the other terms, in the co-main, it was probably one of the greatest fights we've ever seen.
Ever.
Period.
Yeah, absolutely.
Regardless of gender.
That fight was phenomenal from start to finish. There wasn't a dull moment. There wasn't a moment where you're like, okay, yeah, it's 5 rounds. They're taking a break. These ladies were throwing from start to finish. I mean, it was a beautiful performance by both of them.
Yeah, it really was. And before we even get into the co-main and co-main event, we got a few good prelims fights to talk about. Actually, I mean, just real quick. Just a little off topic, quick MMA news. There was a little bit of a side bet going on, a huge, big deal in Vegas, actually, between DC and Ben Askren. This made a lot of heat, a lot of news in the MMA community.
Really?
Duran Wynn, Mini DC, was the first fight of the prelims on ESPN, and he had a lot of confidence coming into this fight against Gerald Meerschaert.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty good fight. It was a little back and forth first 2 rounds, but in the end, oh, man.
Well, Wynn just gassed himself out.
He did.
And Meerschaert, he took advantage of it.
Yeah, when you get tired and then an elite grappler like that gets your back, you're in for a bad time. Yeah. It's going to be a bad time, all right? And he got choked out. He tapped to the rear naked choke, but, it was a great fight either way. Duran Wynn, he's got a lot of talent, a lot of hype behind him, but DC, he's got to give up that ice cream and soda pop now for a whole year.
Yes,
we all
does.
saw that.
Yep.
And we're going to be watching DC. Obviously, you got to go back to 205 now. I mean, he's going to lose all that weight right there. No more Popeye's chicken from a man. Too bad. Let's get into our picks, though, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so first fight of the night, we did pick Sugar Sean O'Malley. Holy shit, man. He stole the show, in my opinion, or at least until the co-main event.
Until the co-main,
What a great fight it was. What a great performance he put on. Really pieced him up. He was outclassing him on the feet completely. A little bit of, it was what I was expecting him to do. I mean, he took those 2 years off. He had all that time to develop. Really, really impressed me. I'm not shocked, though. His kick, when he landed that head kick, it didn't land perfectly. It landed on top of the head, but it grazed him just enough to wobble Jose. And then when he went in for that little takedown, Sean hit him with the perfect uppercut, the perfect place uppercut. Hit him right in the jaw, and it was done. He didn't even have to hit him on the ground, really. He just covered up. He knew he was over.
Yep.
Yeah, perfectly placed. And a lot of people, the commentators are saying a lot of Sean's power, it's not from his strength. The dude's not jacked out there. I mean, he's looking pretty thick compared to how he used to be. He used to be on that vegan diet.
Scrawny.
He used to be real scrawny. He put on about 10 pounds of pure muscle, he said. Tim Welch did, his coach. So really
now with the win, we have Sean O'Malley at 11-0. He's now undefeated still.
Yeah.
What do you want to see next for him? Do you think he's ready for a ranked opponent yet?
No. I don't want to see him up against a ranked opponent. Put him up against someone that's maybe top 20, top 30. Why not? He's probably going to be ranked now, but honestly, one matchup I wouldn't mind seeing is him maybe versus Merab. And Marab's been calling him out.
Oh, yeah, that would be a fun fight. Yeah,
Marab called him out multiple times, and Dana in the press conference afterwards was saying he wants to get Sugar Sean back in the octagon as soon as possible.
Away. Yeah. That was in the post fight.
And he knows this kid's got a lot of hype behind him. A lot of hype. He's going to have a big draw one day. He's a potential superstar in the making. He really is.
Yeah.
He's so popular right now, and getting a first round finish like that,
yeah,
especially a dominant one.
Yeah. Impressive fashion after coming back after 2 years suspension. And just guns a-blazing. It was the picture-perfect way you would want to come back, you after 2 years off. So
yeah, very, very impressed with Sugar Sean O'Malley. He said himself, welcome to the Sugar Show, and we're all part of it. It's his show,
It is.
And he's showing off, man. He looked great last night. But so that was 3 points for me, man. I had that first-round knockout. That's 1 point for you, correct?
Yep.
You still pick Sugar?
Yeah, I picked Sugar in decision.
He's going to be the favorite in probably his next 4 or 5 fights. I would be shocked if he wasn't. This kid is going to really, really have a big name one day, especially if he keeps on this winning record.
Yep.
And I wouldn't be shocked if they threw him in there against a Savage next. Cheeto Vera, he's been matched up with him once before. That fight fell through. He's got a fight now. I can't remember on what card. I believe it's Oklahoma City or something like that. But, Cheeto Vera gets a win. That's a great matchup.
It's true.
That's something I want to see. That's just 2 savage strikers going in, beating the shit out of each other. I would love to see that. But next fight we picked.
Aleksei Oliveira versus Max Griffin.
Oh, man. What did you think about the scrambles and the exchanges? I mean, shit, when we were watching the fight, there was that one wild exchange in the second round where Max Payne Griffin was on top of Alex, pounding him.
And then you blink in there. Completely reversed.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
The fastest sweep I've ever seen. I didn't even see it, and I swear I didn't even blink.
Yeah.
I was watching the whole time, and then I'm like, wait a second. That's Alex on top now. What the hell is going on?
So fast.
Yeah, it was wild. Wild exchanges. And Max Payne really impressed me with his grappling. He did. He had pretty good top pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, with Aleksei Oliveira, it seems like every single fight, this guy just has a pool of blood.
Yes.
Everywhere. Like, the guy just gets cut, and there's just blood, man. It's wild.
Yes. So that was Max Payne. I think he was cut right in the forehead, right in between both of his eyes. He was pouring blood all over everywhere. God, he impressed me. He had so much power tonight. He really, really outstruck Alex on the feet. But Alex was outclassing him on the ground, too, as well, and really held his own that third round. Outclassed him on the third round. Won that third round, which won him the fight. That was a very close fight. That fight, to me, was not controversial at all, though. Some people online were saying it was probably should have went to Max Payne, but...
Was that a split?
I don't know. I think it was unanimous.
It was a unanimous?
I think so. Or it might have been a split. I can't remember.
I don't remember either.
But it was a very close fight either way. I'm not too mad at the judges for that one. That definitely should have gone to Cowboy, in my opinion. I thought he won the first and the third. Great fight, though. Really, really started the main card off very well. It
was a split.
It was a split? Yeah. Crazy, man. I think the judges overall tonight, I know we talked a lot about the judging in past episodes about how horrible it's been, but tonight... last night. I didn't think it was that bad.
No, nor did I. I thought it was pretty good judging overall. Even in the co-main event, I could have saw it going either way, and we'll talk about that later. But I thought overall the judging was right, and in the main event too. Even though in the Fight Companion we were flipping out.
Yeah.
But, after we went back and watched it again today, we realized, okay, we see what they were judging there.
Oh,
Absolutely.
we were drunk. We were right.
We were, yeah.
That's funny. But right after that, boss, Neil Magny and Li Jingliang.
You know what? I love this. I love that Neil Magny was able to come back. There was something about it, and I wanted to change my pick. This was one of those fights after watching the embeddeds and stuff and seeing him and hearing him talk and looking at his physical, his body and how in shape and how healthy he looked. I thought, man, this might be a different Neil Magny.
Yeah, and it definitely was. And
it definitely was. I mean, he came out and he fought his fight and really controlled Ji Liang, you know. So
he looked very dominant, not only on the ground but also on the feet. He was out striking Jing Liang, and Jing Liang is a freaking savage striker.
Yeah, he is.
So I was
strong
very
too,
impressed.
Very
strong. And Neil Magny too. He looks skinny because he's so tall and lanky for the division, but he is strong. He has got that freakish, weird strength.
Yeah. But he looked more toned. It looked like he put on a little bit more muscle. I'm not saying a huge, significant amount, but he just looked more lean. You know, overall, his whole body.
Yeah, it looked like that 16 months he took off was probably the best thing that could ever happen for him in his career.
Yeah.
I say throw him right back in there with top-level competition. Give him a top 10 guy. Give him a top 15 guy. Why not?
Depending on his injuries, he might, give him a little suspension at least, but 4 or 5 months, throw him back in.
Yeah, he looked pretty healthy, man. He didn't look like he took too much damage, but he really did a very good job of controlling Lee. Didn't let Lee implement his game plan in the slightest bit. Really didn't. I was very impressed with Neil Magny, and he shocked me, honestly. I thought he was going to come in and get outclassed completely. Li Jingliang had a lot of hype coming into this fight. A lot of hype. I was expecting him to outclass him on the feet completely.
Well, we even hyped him out.
Yeah.
We've seen his fights. He's an up-and-comer.
Yeah.
He's a strong Chinese fighter, man.
Yeah, he's really good. And China has got so much freaking hype and so much momentum going behind him right now. So
their fighters are looking great.
Yeah, they really
Very
are.
promising for the UFC.
Yeah. Great fight. I was wrong. I picked Jinglang second round KO, so I was completely wrong. Didn't get any points for that.
Yeah, and then I went first round Jinglang, first round KO, so I was also wrong.
Yeah.
0 points on that.
Yeah, well, at least we both didn't get points.
Fuck you, dude. I need the points. You're like 16 points up after this week.
We'll see.
Oh, man.
No, not co-main event. We still had...
Yeah,
how do you forget this one?
Darnouche, yeah. It's awesome.
I can't believe I even forgot that. That was shocked me, man. Beneil Dariush versus Jakar Close. Wow.
Yeah.
That first round, wow. Shocked. They had great exchanges in the first round. And then when Beneil took his back, just stayed up against the fence the whole time. That has got to do so much to your cardio. When you have that body triangle locked in,
so
you're on
much
the back,
weight.
up against the fence, just dragging the man the whole time.
Well, how about this? We had Deontay Wilder complain about the 40-pound body armor. Imagine having another human being on
Honestly,
your back for
a freaking
5 minutes.
165-pound behemoth just on your back, pounding.
It's got to be
pounding
the
you in
worst thing ever.
And going for submissions the whole time. And he had that neck crank tight.
He did. That was real tight.
That was
At one
really
point, I was
tight.
like, he might have that.
Yeah.
He just didn't get under the chin.
Well, if that was
quite
Connor,
enough.
he would have tapped.
It
But
was.
Jakar's just a little bit
Damn.
more tough.
Throwing shade at the McGregor.
He would have, man. That looked about as vicious as
It
Khabib's,
looked
honestly.
tough.
Right on the chin, just cranking hella hard. But I was very impressed with Jakar just to survive in that situation, because you got a guy that's that elite in jiu-jitsu like Beneil, man. Beneil's a savage on the ground. Yeah. When you have a guy on your back.
He looked it, too. I mean, when he got his back, you're like, oh, my God, this is fast and decisive.
He had his back for, what, 3 or 4 minutes? And he couldn't get the finish? Like, that's insane. If you got someone like that on your back and you're defending that well, that's very impressive in the case of Jakar Close. Yeah. Very impressive in that case. But, oh, man, that second round. Didn't take long.
No, it didn't.
It did
long. Not take long.
Wild exchanges, too. Both men were just throwing wild. I was like, oh, my God, what's going on?
And it was surprising for me, because I thought it was just going to be a ground game. Yeah. I thought Dariush was just going to implement the jiu-jitsu the whole time. You know? That's why I picked second round sub.
Yeah. Crazy, man. I was shocked. And the way he knocked him out with that huge right hook. Oh, the mouthpiece hanging out as half his mouth, too. Barneal knew. He's like, okay, he's done. He didn't have to throw any more punches.
Nope.
No. It was done the second he landed that right hook. And the way he dropped, too, stiffened up. Yeah, that was an amazing knockout.
Yeah, right up against the fence. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, definitely worth the $50K he got. That was performance of the night for him.
Oh, it was? Knockout of the night?
$50K for that.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah,
definitely
deserved it.
Yeah, that was an amazing knockout. Probably, I think it was the second knockout of the night. And I think it was the only two. I think that was
Sean
the only
O'Malley
knockouts.
And
that's a TKO.
Yeah, TKO.
Like, actually
but
knocking
actual
a dude
knockout,
out. Yeah, there was a Chinese guy that got a knockout. I believe it was the first fight of the night, and that was cool. But I just can't remember either of those guys' names. I didn't watch those fights.
Dana Batgirl against Guido Canetti.
Yeah, I've never heard of either.
Knocked him out in the first round.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw the highlight. It looked really nice. So shout out to that guy, whoever you are.
we'll talk about you when you're on the prelims, not the early prelims.
Yep.
It makes it hard for us.
Yeah, but oh my man, let's get into the meat and the bones, the real good
You
stuff.
love that expression.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy. We get to talk about probably I would have to say it's in my top 3 favorite fights of all time.
Wow,
easily.
And you know what's so crazy about that? Is it's probably on the same card as the worst 3 title fights of all time.
Yep.
Which was right after it.
Yep.
Isn't that funny how it works?
It really is funny how that works. So crazy, because the whole crowd, I mean, we'll get into the main event and how
later,
the crowd was acting back then, but everyone got spoiled with this fight right
Oh
here.
my God.
Zhang versus Joanna.
This was phenomenal.
that's like every hardcore fan's wet dream is two chicks just fucking duking it out, like just nonstop.
I don't know about that. I just like to watch the fighting, that guy. I mean, I have other, fantasies. That's not the first one. I got to be honest
okay,
with
so it's just mine.
It's just yours, yeah. And now the world knows.
Okay, well, at least you know.
At least you know.
Yeah, but dude, the exchanges from start to finish, from round 1 to round 5, those were some of the most wild exchanges I've ever seen in any female MMA fight ever. I've never seen girls just come in and engage in the pocket like that, just trade constantly. And man, let's just start talking about rounds. The first round, both those girls, Joanna started off with the significant strikes, I believe. She definitely landed that big first right hand, and that stunned Zhang. But Zhang, after taking some of those right hands, she really got confident. She got real confident going, okay, I could take these punches. And then was willing to go inside the pocket and take big shots just to be able to land some of her own. And man, I think Joanna won that first round for sure just because of that. She was walking into big shots.
Yeah, with all these exchanges, both girls were landing, and both girls were landing sometimes at the same time.
Yes.
It was so hard to score this fight, where it was like these exchanges, like you don't know who landed 3 times and who landed twice because, one, these girls are so incredibly fast.
Yes.
I mean, their strikes are so incredibly fast, and it's just like trying to keep up with it is hard enough. Like this has to go down as one of the greatest fights ever.
It really has to. It's probably,
I mean,
my opinion, it's top 3, but I would think, if you had to get everyone in the room, every fighter ever, just go, okay, let's do top fights of all time, it might be top 7.
Yeah.
It's definitely top 10.
Definitely. Well, and there were over 300 strikes thrown before the third round was even done.
Yes, there was 600 strikes thrown before the 5th round between both women.
That's insane.
Insane.
The output is absolutely bonkers.
It's ridiculous. It really is. I don't even. What's the average per minute? Like 50 strikes per minute or something like that. That's a ridiculous pace. That's way crazier than any Nick Diaz pace, constantly in your face. Like these women at the 115, especially. You got to think about how many girls fight like this. Rose Namajunas, Joanna, now Zhang, dude. These women are putting out ridiculous paces that almost anybody in the world can't keep up with. Nobody can keep up with a pace like that. I can't think of any male that fights like that.
No way. There were 783 strikes thrown in this entire fight.
That's insane.
I'm going to give you Weili Zhang threw 170 total, total strikes were 413, 170 landed. That's 41%. Joanna threw 370 strikes and landed 196 at 53%.
Wow.
Significant strikes, Weili Zhang 165 over 408, and Joanna 186 over 360.
Wow,
that's insane.
Razor thin.
It's so close. And they did give Weili Zhang 1 takedown. She was 1 for 8 in her takedowns.
Wow, really?
Yep.
Must have been the one up against the fence.
No,
right
the
at the
trip
end.
Probably.
There was a couple trips she got, but
the trip in the center of the cage where she got on top of her for a little while because she gained control and she passed there. I think that's the takedown that they count technically.
Okay. Joanna had a great takedown defense that whole night. Yeah. Every time, like Zhang's first few takedown attempts went nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. No. Joanna's takedown defense looked absolutely amazing.
It did.
I was very impressed with not only her takedown defense, but her timing as well. When she was hitting huge right hook counters, both women were huge, hitting massive counters. Both women knew that they'd have to take a punch to land their own. It was a wild fight. Almost every round the first time we watched it that night, I just couldn't give you a winner.
No.
You're like, who won that round?
No
I have no idea. It was too close to tell. The exchanges were so evenly matched. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the power. Did Zhang have a little more power in those exchanges? I think so.
But definitely. She's the power striker.
Yeah. But was it enough to win all of those rounds? Was it enough to win most of those exchanges? In the early rounds, it was so tough to tell.
It really depends what round you're talking about. I mean, we almost have to break this fight down round by round.
Yeah. First round, I gave to Joanna.
I gave to Joanna as well. I gave the first 2 to Joanna. I gave the third to Zhang, and then 4 to Joanna. Yeah, 4 to Joanna, and then 5 to Zhang.
I gave 1 Joanna. 2 was like we said, 2 was the closest round for me.
2 was the closest round in this fight.
I have no idea who won 2.
Nor do
You
I.
could flip a coin and give either girl that round, and I would
kept
be okay
going
with
back
it.
and forth because the night that I watched the fight, I gave the second round to Zhang.
Yeah.
And then when I watched it again, I go, man, that's Joanna.
Yeah, it's so
Close.
tough. Joanna, I believe, won the 4th round pretty convincingly.
Yeah, same.
Same with Zhang. Zhang won the
Zhang
5th
for the
round.
5th, yeah.
Even though Joanna landed that huge spinning it was either spinning elbow.
Yeah, it was.
But she missed with the elbow, hit more with the forearm, spinning forearm attack right at the end. And, oh, God, it hit her right on the jaw perfectly.
It was a huge shot, but I just couldn't look at the one shot to overtake
Yes.
what Zhang was doing throughout the 5th round.
Yeah, she was really piecing her up in the 5th round, landing huge counter shots.
Nice combinations, too.
Yes. And let's see, we haven't even talked about the hematoma.
Oh, my God.
In the 3rd round, end of the 3rd, Zhang hit a clip. It was almost like a glancing shot. It wasn't a perfect shot. Hit her right in the eye, right on the forehead. And after that, she instantly had a big bubble on her forehead, and it was just swelling by the second.
I was saying she was looking like a Martian, from the classic movie, and no one knew what I was talking about during the fight in. Well, and then I go on Twitter, and someone photoshopped her face inside the helmet, the Welcome to Mars or whatever. I was like, oh, that's funny.
I saw that. There's a lot of memes.
That's how bad that hematoma was, man. It was gruesome to look at.
Yeah,
and then it looked like she broke her nose, too, in the 4th round.
Yes. No, I think that was a 5th when they talked about it. When they tweaked
with
her
that
nose
left
with
hook.
that left hook. Yep.
Yeah.
So crazy, man. Joanna is a freaking warrior.
She is.
She is an absolute warrior. She's a class
She
act.
always comes to fight.
Yes. I've never once watched one of her fights and not been entertained.
Mm-hmm.
Not once have I. She comes to fight hard every time. Comes to put on a show. Doesn't care if she's getting knocked out. Doesn't care if she's got a massive hematoma on her forehead. She knew. She looked up at the screen multiple times. She knew that thing was on her head.
Oh, yeah,
And
definitely.
at no point was she going, oh, maybe I need to stop. At no point did she think about giving up. She's an absolute savage.
Well, in her post-fight interview in the octagon, she says that it was really irritating her after the 3rd. She said every time Zhang punched her in the forehead, she felt it, and it was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
She said sometimes her head was going in and out.
Yeah.
She goes, but, it was a good fight. Props to Zhang. And that's one thing, too, man. Let's talk about the post-fight, because this is a very mature Joanna. A much more mature Joanna than I think we've ever seen in her career. Because if you remember back in the day, if she thought she won a fight, she would flip out about it at the end.
Yeah.
I think she's been very graceful in defeat, or gracious in defeat, rather, even though it's so close. Like, watching back again, I'm almost going to have to watch this fight a 3rd time, because it's like I picked Zhang for the 1st time, Joanna for the 2nd, and it's like, man, I might have to watch it again.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's so razor thin close.
Yeah.
We got to have a rematch. And I'm so hypocritical because I normally say I don't like immediate rematches, but this fight was so close that you have to.
Yeah.
And it's the challenger and not the champion losing the belt. And that's where I'm not hypocritical. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I just don't like when the champ loses his belt and gets an immediate rematch. That's what I don't like. But this is different. She retained it.
I disagree with you there. I think if the champ's a dominant champ, he deserves the immediate rematch. But do I like it? No, just because, like we said, they usually lose. Mm-hmm. But in this case, it's a pretty controversial decision. It really is.
It is.
There's a lot of people online that thought Joanna won that fight.
But no one got robbed.
I agree.
Absolutely not.
100%.
And I think the judges did a good job last night.
I agree.
This fight could have went either way. And that's
really
something I
could've.
want to make sure we stress right away. Because yes, there may be some controversy, but I don't know, dude.
It was
It's
such
so
a
hard to
good
be a
fight.
judge
It was
that
such a
night.
good fight. I could watch this fight 3 times in a row. Say Joanna loses again by split decision, I wouldn't give a shit if they did it again. If it was the exact same fight over again, I would watch
You'd
it
watch
again
it.
for a 3rd time.
Totally.
Why not? That was seriously the greatest women's MMA fight I've ever seen. And yes, some people online were criticizing it because, oh, that's only a popular fight. It's only a big fight because everyone took so much damage. Well, yeah, because they're both showing their hearts. They're believing themselves in the octagon.
And that's what a fight is.
Yes. And well, people are criticizing that because, oh, the only reason everyone hated Yoel and Israel is because nobody took any damage in that fight. And you guys just want to see violence. Well, I mean, a part of me says yes. And another part of me is like, did you not watch the fucking fights?
Well, right.
That was one of the most technical fights I've ever seen in my entire
course.
life. Yeah, there was a lot of damage taken by both women, but that's what you do when you're fighting that championship caliber opponent. You need to take risks.
Yeah. And fuck, dude, I'll go watch Ryan Hall fight. He's a
Yes.
jiu-jitsu master. He's not going to hurt anyone as far as like physically, like knock anyone out. He may, put a guy in an arm bar if he taps before. It's not the violence that we want to see necessarily. It's the action. It's the combat sport. It's competition is what we want to see, which we didn't see a lot of that in the main event.
No, almost none.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get right into the main event right now, but
But just defending our point there.
Yes. Rematch with Zhang and Joanna. I do think that might be the fight to make. I think you have to wait for this Rose Namajunas Andrade 2 fight. We'll see what happens there.
Mm-hmm.
But 100%, if that's the fight they make, I would not be opposed to it. Like I said, I could watch this fight over and over and over again. I've watched this fight 4 times already.
Yeah.
And I'm about to go home tonight and go watch it again.
I know. I might pop it up again and watch it because it's just that good.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
It lived up to the hype in every word or every sense of the meaning. It really did. This fight was my main event. I was more hyped for this fight than the main event.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, when you look at it, the main event should have fucking been what this fight was.
Oh, totally.
It should have been what this fight was.
It should have been a war,
Mm-hmm.
just like the Paulo Costa and Yoel Romero fight was.
Yeah, and
it should have been that.
That's what people were expecting.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was expecting it.
yeah.
We had talked about the bull and the matador.
Yeah.
That's what we thought.
Yeah, Conor McGregor was tweeting about this Joanna and Zhang fight, and he said that Joanna won. He thought Joanna won.
Mm-hmm.
There was several other fighters that thought Joanna won. Make the rematch, Dana White. Just do it. Why not?
Yeah.
In this
scenario,
fight,
let's do it.
This fight can main event anywhere in the world. This fight can main event Las Vegas International Fight Week pay-per-view, and I would buy it.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, that would get me hyped if I could go to that International Fight Week, that fight again.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me or what? Sign me up.
Yeah, for sure. And
I think Dana's all for it too, because you saw those post-fight interviews. He was like, yeah. He goes, that was one of the greatest fights I've ever seen of all time.
Yeah.
He goes, these ladies come out to fight, and he was complimenting Joanna and her defeat. So when Dana really compliments someone when they lose, that's when you're like, okay, we might get a rematch.
Yeah.
Because if you're on Dana's good side, you're going to get that rematch.
yeah. Yeah, congratulations to the champ. Retained her
Absolutely.
belt.
Yep.
It was a great fight, and I just can't wait to see who she fights next. There's a few contenders I'd love to see her matched up against at 115. I was saying that she was so big for the weight division, but really now looking at it, she's only 5'4". For some reason, I was thinking she was taller and lankier. She looks like a natural strawweight, actually. I don't know if I'm 100% in for her just moving straight up to 125. So we'll see. The future might tell. If she dominates, like say we get this Joanna rematch, she wins and then beats Rose, beats a Tatiana Suarez, there's not going to be a whole lot of contenders for her to fight. And then at that point, okay, let's see her and Shevchenko. Why not? But now after this performance, I'm really holding off on the Shevchenko fight. I think she needs to keep fighting at 115, fighting more natural 115.
Oh, totally. I like that too. I'd rather have Shevchenko go up to 135.
Yeah.
I'd rather see that Amanda Nunes before Weili.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and Shevchenko says she doesn't cut weight to get to 125.
That's crazy.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Crazy.
She says she doesn't have to cut weight for it, so you never know. She could
drop
115.
down. Yeah, she could drop down to strawweight.
I mean, she'd be the biggest 115er ever. Like literally
Yeah,
ever.
huge. Yeah.
She'd be the most jacked 115er of all time. But that's very interesting.
It is.
I wonder. You never know. There's been crazier things that happen in this sport, but I think it's time, boss. Let's talk about this main event.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero. Man, what a fight this was hyped up to be. This was like
lead into that. Yeah.
This was the fight that everyone thought was gonna be the fight of the night. This was the fight I was expecting. I was expecting another Kelvin
Fireworks.
Gastelum classic. Yoel's last chance to get a belt. His only chance for the longest time. He'll never get another title shot unless he knocks out Israel in spectacular fashion or does something crazy. This is it. This is all he has. And what the fuck does he do? He danced and he stood. When this fight first started, the first 2 minutes, no one threw a single strike.
I could not believe that.
I was shocked. And to see Yoel when he's
Almost 3 minutes.
he was doing this. And this is all he's doing. And he's standing. And he does a little foot shift. That's all he did.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything else
No.
for 2.5 minutes. Threw one leg kick. What the hell, man? I just remember being pissed. I was like,
I
what
couldn't
is
believe
going on?
what was going on. And then after the first round, I just got not even after it, during it, I got a really bad feeling. And we had already started bringing up the Ngannou Derek Lewis fight. Because we're like, is this what this is going to be?
Yeah, I really did not want to bring that fight up because I was like,
No.
I don't want to jinx it.
Nope.
I don't want to make sure that this actually happens, but it didn't matter. It was that fight all over.
It was
again.
that fight.
It truly was.
Yeah.
I think they might have thrown a little bit more.
They did. But
Barely.
to be fair, the Ngannou fight was only 3 rounds.
True.
Not 5. So
True.
we got an extra
Very
2
true.
rounds.
And thank God that fight was only 3 rounds.
No shit.
If
I
that
wish
was
this
5,
fight. I wish this fight would have been 3 rounds.
honestly, this fight
Honestly.
should have been the co-main. If the Zhang and Joanna fight was the main event, it'd be not only the more entertaining fight, but it would have been the fight. Everyone would have been happy. No one would have been talking about any controversy. I would have been like, okay, it ended on a spectacular fight of the year contender for sure. So I guess no, not Dan Hooker. Paul Felder, I guess, was standing next to Ariel Helwani when that fight was going on. And the second that fight ended, he turned to Ariel Helwani and he said, well, looks like my fight isn't fight of the year anymore. Because he knew. Oh, man, that sucks.
Oh, yeah, you got to know.
Yeah, he knew that, okay, this fight, plus recency bias and stuff like that, he had no chance. He knew. He's like, okay, looks like I'm not getting fight of the year. Because that most definitely was a fight of the year contender. Him and Dan Hooker.
Was, yeah.
That was an amazing
great fight.
But this just made it. It kind of dwarfed it.
It did. I know. Really and the next week, too. It's got to kind of suck. Put yourself through that war. And then, a week or 2 later, and you got this fight. It's like, shit.
And you're like, shit. That's demoralizing.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. Poor Paul. But with Yoel and Israel, it was just so strange. I just remember thinking, like, why? Like, what was Yoel's game plan? Did he think Israel was going to charge in like a wild man like Paula and just start throwing hands and that he'd be the counter striker?
Yeah.
Yoel thought he was going to be the counter striker tonight or last night.
That's what he thought. He thought Israel was going to press the pace. He thought he was going to be the one coming in. I get it kind of what Yoel, I think, was trying to do. I brought it up last night where he was trying to entice him in so he could like barrage him with punches. But Izzy's not going to do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's why you had a stalemate for 5 rounds. Because I really believe Yoel was trying to like bait him in. Which is stupid. It didn't work. And he made himself looking silly.
Yeah.
Doing the arm thing and not really, pressing the pace. I thought it was so strange. I'm not defending his actions. But at the same time, I look at that and I'm like, yeah. Unquestionably, that's what it was. He was trying to get him to pursue him, and Izzy wasn't going to step into his game.
No.
But Yoel, the problem with Yoel is he didn't switch up his. He stuck to that game plan for 5 rounds instead of switching it up and trying to do something different. Maybe incorporate your wrestling. Maybe incorporate something else. I don't understand why he refuses to go back to his wrestling.
It's shocking.
I know he's older. I know he doesn't have the greatest cardio in the world. But I mean, again, dude, this is the last chance you get for the middleweight championship of the world. This is the last time you're ever going to get hands on gold, or the possibility of having your hands on gold, and not to switch up your game plan and just stick to it for 5 rounds when knowing it's not working. You're getting outstruck. You're getting hit from the outside. I mean, that's all Izzy would do. Leg kick, and then circle around him.
Yeah.
I get Yoel's frustration to a point, but it's like, dude, it's a fight. You got to figure it out.
You got to do something.
You got to change up your game plan.
You got to engage.
You're trying to get the belt. Yeah.
I'll give Yoel the first. Let's break this down round by round. Yoel won that first round, especially because he had that jumping body kick, and he had that big left hand.
Yep, the
big left hand. Jesus Christ, was it a big left hand?
I gave the first round to Yoel, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
You almost have to. Second round, I gave Israel the second round. He in the first time we watched it, I was drunk, but still, I was like, man, Israel, he fights so strange because he doesn't look like he's hitting you with the most powerful punch ever. But he's touching you, and he's hitting you, and he's connecting, and these strikes over time add up. We saw on Yoel's face every time Yoel got hit, he just acted as if, oh, that was a nothing shot. That didn't affect me at all. But dude, you still got hit.
Yeah,
that's still a number on paper, and it adds up over time. Yoel didn't do jack shit that second round.
He didn't.
He really
didn't. Do it. Did he throw more than 10 strikes? I thought he only landed 8 in the second round.
The second round, he had like 6, I think, or 8
6,
or something like that.
It was just ridiculous.
Out of maybe like 11 or 12 attempted, something crazy. In the third round was the round where he really didn't do anything.
Yeah.
That one was worse than the second. The third round, Ben Askren tweeted about it. He's like, did you all even throw a strike in the third round?
Yeah, I didn't understand it.
It was so weird. And like I said, Israel just kept on just touching him. Just touch him. Here, quick little shots. Land a quick little freaking switch kick. Barely tap you on the top of the head. And yeah, did 0 damage. You all walked through it like a fucking did nothing. A lot of leg kicks. Acted as if they did nothing. But we saw his leg.
Well,
especially
of
towards
course.
the third round.
There was damage for sure. And I think like Yoel, he was like taking the shots as if like, yeah, these aren't affecting me. But he's still scoring points.
Yes.
He's still scoring points on you. At some point, you have to attack him. You have to score your own points. You got to outfight him.
Yeah.
And he wasn't pulling the trigger for whatever reason. I mean, he would sporadically, but you really got to be the bull. You got to go
really
forward.
have to.
You have to. You don't have a choice.
He was a bull that was shot up with tranquilizer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
He was fighting until he passed out.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't even fighting. It was almost as if he just passed out. It was wild, man.
It is wild.
So wild. I expected him to come out as like a bat out of hell and be the wild man that he is.
Yep.
This man is absolutely insane in the membrane. And he's fucking crazy.
He is.
We all saw his little dance and shit and his
and
arms.
then that you can believe. If you believe, you can achieve anything. And I'm just like, I'm motivated, but I want to piss myself because I'm so scared at the same time.
He read the same book as Luke Rockhold.
Yeah, he did.
Where was
Bisbee? Yeah, the self-help book.
We should have clipped that. Believe, achieve. Shut the fuck up.
Michael Bisbee. Oh, God.
Shout out, Mike.
That was one of the funniest moments.
Oh, it was.
God.
Made Dana laugh real hard.
Yeah, and you don't see Dana laugh that hard very often when two fighters are going after it, and they sure were.
Yeah. 4th round, I gave to Israel as well.
Yeah, I gave 2, 3, 4 to Izzy, and then I gave the 5th to Yoel.
Yeah, crazy explosion there in the 5th. And let's talk about so he kind of got the eye poke in the 4th, and that slowed it down. But the second he gave up his time started, he charged straight at Israel, almost took him down, hit him with a couple check hooks when he's coming up. Like, dude, that worked.
Go back to that.
Go back to it.
Yeah.
Do it again. Charge at him like fucking Brock Lesnar charged at freaking Frank Mir when they first fought, and just dominate him on the ground because he has Olympic level wrestling. What, I don't think, did he medal? I think he was a silver medalist.
Silver.
Yeah, silver medalist at the Olympics.
Yeah.
And there's only savages going to the Olympics.
course.
You have to be an absolute freak.
Well, there was an Olympian on the card on the prelims, Madsen.
Yes.
He won his fight.
Yes.
That was a great fight, by the way. Shout out to him because that was a good prelim fight.
Actually, I didn't get to see that one.
It's good. Go back and watch it. The 3rd round, he was getting gassed, though.
Really?
It was close. Yeah, it was a good fight, though.
Okay.
Anyway, nonetheless, he is an Olympic wrestler.
Yeah, that 5th round, Yoel won, and then at the very end of the fight, when he was just freaking out,
Yeah, just yelling
at him and just screaming at him, pounding his chest, acting as if he won the fight.
Well,
he was convinced he won
and that was
fight.
like between both of those two, because Izzy was yelling at him back. I felt like that was the most aggression of the entire fight.
It was.
Like I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
So where was that aggression for the last 25 minutes?
Honestly. It was just
because
non-existent.
it wasn't displayed.
It was.
It's just, it surprised me. Definitely surprised me.
It was barely better than Francis versus Derek, which is the consensus worst fight of all time, in my book at least. So this goes down as the 2nd worst fight of all time, probably the worst title fight of all time.
I can't think of a worse one.
Honestly.
Seriously.
I can't either. It was the worst title fight of all time. Is this a hype killer?
I mean, maybe
kill
Kamaru Usman, Tyron Woodley, because it was so dominant.
Yeah,
but that one was fun to watch because it was like Tyron at the time was such a dominant champ. So never mind.
Yeah, well, and if you're a Kamaru fan, that's the greatest fight ever. So.
Well, exactly. Yeah, that's true. And it wasn't boring. It was a good fight. I just meant
It was boring in the sense of like it was so dominant that
it was so dominant. Yeah, that's what I mean by it, but not in a disrespectful way where it wasn't entertaining to watch because. It blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like how dominant he was for 5 rounds. So.
Yeah. Absolutely crazy. And then
I can't think of one.
No.
I can't.
I really can't either. It's probably the worst title fight of all time. Yeah. Maybe you could say John Jones, Anthony Smith.
So let's talk about this because I've before this podcast we're doing our preview and I'm still on it. I'm still on this train. What does this do for Israel Adesanya's hype train? What do you see next? Like, how bad does this hurt him in the long haul? Because, look, he went out there, he won the fight, okay? And we both had it the same way, today when we were scoring it. He won the fight. He did enough to win the fight. And his job is to win the fight. So I think he went out there, he implemented the best game plan that he knew how, and he did enough to win. But I guess how much does this hurt his career, do you think?
I think it definitely hurts this next fight. For sure. We all know the Paulo Costa fight is next. We know that he's next for Israel. He's ready. He was freaking out, by the way. at the side.
Completely erratic behavior.
He was freaking out after the fight because and I don't blame him. He probably watched that fight the entire time and was like, man, I'll fuck both these guys up right now in the same night.
It was his manager or something. They kept doing Instagram videos, but I saw a few of them, and they're just fuming, pissed.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're like, is Israel scared? He's running
scared.
away.
That's what they kept saying over and over and over again. This man is scared, and he will run away from me just like he ran away from Yoel just now.
They were acting rowdy.
Wild.
Yeah, real rowdy
wild.
that whole night.
And then, I mean, Israel pointed him out, flipped him off. But then Yoel,
Yeah,
when Yoel saw
and
him, that's
got
when
into
Yoel almost stepped out of the octagon and started talking mad shit to him. And that's when Paulo jumped the gate.
Yeah, he did.
That's when he jumped the fence and trying to get in the octagon. And that's when security escorted him and his manager out of the building. They're like, okay, this is getting
get
wild.
the hell out of here.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
But they didn't kick him out completely. He still got to do a press conference afterwards. He talked to Dana, did a couple interviews, but they got him out of the arena real quick.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't want nothing
As they
going
probably
down.
should have. You know, you don't want shit going down like that in Vegas.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or anywhere, you know, but I mean, just in general. Just get them out of there. Let them cool off. They had their moment. Just get them out.
Let's talk about the interviews afterwards. So after Israel was announced the winner, unanimous decision 48-47, 48-47, then 49-46 for one judge.
Yeah, one judge had,
Wild. So maybe he gave Israel the first as well.
Yeah, it could not have been the fifth.
It couldn't have been the fifth. The fifth for sure was Yoel, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So,
and it wasn't like it was complete dominance at any point. Did we think Israel was going out or anything? But as far as a fight for the round, Yoel definitely won the fifth. So I think he might have gave the first to him.
yeah,
You're right.
which is definitely possible. I mean, he outstruck him by one strike, 4-3. But Yoel hit that big left hand. That was the only reason why we gave him the first. Was the big left hand? It was just so powerful, crazy, man. But interviews afterwards, Israel was saying, "Man, I just had to do, this is what you got to do to win this fight. I did what I had to do to win this fight." And he's right. Because you can't, I mean, unless you're Paulo Costa, you can't just charge at that man and start swinging wildly, which he did, which is wild. That's why that Paulo Costa fight should be held up on a pedestal. Like, that's a crazy way to fight Yoel. No one fights Yoel like that.
No.
And he did. He just charged straight at him, swung wild, almost got KO'd at one point.
Yeah.
That was a wild fight.
They
I gotta
both
go
had
back
chins
and
of
rewatch
steel,
that.
man.
They really do.
I just recently watched that fight. It's an incredible fight.
It's incredible. It's a great fight.
Yeah, and I wish that fight would have been 5 rounds, though. That's the only bad thing about that fight is I could have definitely sat through another 2 rounds.
Oh, yeah. It should have been a 5-round fight somewhere like Miami or something like that. Absolutely should have been.
Miami, that place would have been popping.
Would have been insane.
Yeah, Brazilian and the Cuban on that card.
There would have been a fight there would have been a fight in the arena.
For sure. Yeah, everyone's coked up in Florida, definitely.
Yeah, wild. He was talking some shit, though. He talked some shit about Paulo. He went to go point him out, but he was already kicked out of the arena by then.
Yeah,
so
he was.
He's like, where's he at?
Misstep.
Well, he's walking away. He could hear me talking shit. He's like, he goes, just you wait, guys. He's going to charge at me, and I promise you, I'm going to fuck that motherfucker up. And he's like, sorry, I can't cuss on ESPN Plus.
Yeah. He's like, no, you can. He goes, we're good. We're on ESPN Plus. And then it just bleeped out the whole entire sentence.
He just started going off. Yeah. That was a good time. That was funny. But Yoel got on the mic. Oh, God. Yo, the people, when they buy the pay-per-view, you know, they want to see the fight. They need to see the fight in the middle.
These people. Yeah. They fight like gladiators.
They want to see our warriors. They want to see them come to the middle and they want to fight. Like, then where the fuck were you at, dude? Why weren't you swinging?
Why didn't you pursue more?
The people want to see the warriors. Then where the fuck were you, man?
You had fucking 25 minutes to show us you were a warrior, which he is.
He didn't swing. He landed a few big hands, but man, you were not swinging. You were not even engaging.
No, he wasn't initiating.
How many times did Dan Mergliardo give them warnings?
Oh, so many times.
3 or 4.
I mean, well, at the start of the 4th, he pulled them together and said, hey, give the judges something to score. I mean, that's an insult. And then they were chipping at each other.
Score.
It's just crazy.
Wild. And they were flipping each other off. Like, they were both frustrated. You could tell.
Oh, they were, yeah.
They were both frustrated with each other because, I mean, when you get 2 counter strikers like that just are waiting constantly, this type of fights happened a lot in the UFC, actually.
Yeah, they have.
You know, this fight has so much hype around it that no one expected it to be this way. But in reality, we almost should have expected it to be this way.
Yeah, we should have.
We really should have, because we all know Yoel loves to do those long lulls. Those long lulls of doing nothing and then just fucking explode and just murder someone.
I just thought Israel would actually press the pace more. I know he's a counter striker, but I just mean, like, tire Yoel out. Like, that's why I picked him in the 3rd round. to TKO. I thought he was just going to outwork him, just tire him out, just piece him together, pop, pop. Never give Yoel a break, any time to recover. You know, kind of what Colby Covington did to Robbie Lawler. Just didn't give him any room to breathe. I figured he might do that, but that wasn't the case.
Yeah, no, he's stuck to
boring fight.
Yeah, he's stuck to his counter-striking roots and just didn't want to put it on.
Yeah,
didn't want to pressure him.
It's a smart play, but it's the boring play.
It really, you're right. Yeah. It was 100%. That's if you're gonna fight Yoel, that's almost how you have to fight him. Unfortunately.
And so, really, can we be that mad at Izzy?
No,
you can't.
I'm still a fan.
As a fan, I'm not. Like, I'm really not. Like, yeah, it was a boring fight, but I'm not upset. I'm not upset with it because how else do you fight Yoel? It's kind of the perfect thing, unless the advice I gave, but I'm no expert. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, you know? So, I'm not mad at it.
Yeah,
I don't think it does too much to hurt his career either. I really don't.
We'll see. I think this is definitely going to hurt his pay-per-view numbers in this next fight.
Yeah, but they're going to hype up that Paulo Costa fight so much.
Well, and that's what Dana was saying, even in the press conference. He was like, man, this fight will be completely different because Paulo's actually going to swing on Israel. He's actually going to charge after him and swing wildly.
Try to take his head off.
Yep. I guess we'll see. Definitely. We'll see. Then we all saw when you try to take Israel's head off, that's when he seems to shine. That's when he seems to come out and be the last style bender that we expected, the amazing superstar that we all want to see, you know? So we'll see.
Yep.
I can't wait. Honestly, I can't. I think you get Israel back in there sooner than later because if he ends up taking a long hiatus after this fight, that's how you kill hype. You kill hype by not fighting and especially having shitty fights like that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so crazy, man. I think it's time to get in some MMA news, though. How about that?
Let's do it. Let's hop into it.
So first thing on my list, MMA news. Paulo Costa was obviously there. He got kicked out. He was freaking out. He came out, did an interview. Who did he do an interview with? Brett Okamoto. That's who.
Yep.
And he was saying some crazy shit, man. He was saying that he wants to kill Israel. He wants to fuck him up. Can't be shocked. He was so angry watching that fight. I can only imagine being him, just watching that, just going, man, are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? He was probably the most frustrated person in the building.
Oh, dude. And you could just tell watching those videos. He was just fuming.
Furious. So he said exactly that in the interview, that he's going to charge Israel and he's going to try and take his head off. So hopefully he does. Hopefully he's not full of shit.
Well, and Dana met with him backstage after the fight.
Yeah.
Too, and was kind of talking to him, being like, you know, your shot's coming.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you know who else he met up with after the fights? Logan Paul.
He did. He met up with Logan Paul. Yeah.
He said Logan Paul is tougher than Israel Adesanya.
I know. And I think Logan Paul was even like, dude, don't get me in the middle of this. I'm not trying to get on Izzy's bad side. That dude will fuck me up. Yeah, exactly.
And that leads right into the next piece of news. Brian Ortega and Korean Zombie had a little bit of a spat there at the fights.
Yes, they did.
So Brian Ortega and Korean Zombie have been going back and forth a little bit on Twitter. We all know they were scheduled to fight once at UFC Fight Night Singapore. No, not Singapore. It was actually South Korea in Seoul. Fell through. They ended in December. I don't remember what it was.
It was an injury, right?
It was an injury, but I don't remember what exactly. I think it was a shoulder or something like that. It was something that they said normally wouldn't require surgery, but because his was torn or pulled so bad that it did require surgery. So he's back. He's healthy. He's already training again. They've been talking a lot about who he's going to fight next, and Korean Zombie has been the number one guy.
Yeah.
They really want to
I'm ready
make
for that fight.
That's going to be a great fight.
That'll be a freaking awesome fight.
That's going to be a great fight.
Zombie Ortega.
But Zombie has been talking a lot of shit to not only Brian Ortega, but also to Alexander Volkanovski. But I don't believe the UFC is excited for that fight.
Is ready for that fight?
Yeah,
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, that'd be a great fight.
I'd love it.
That'd be an absolutely great matchup. But I think the UFC is going to go the route of this Max Holloway versus Volkanovski too. We'll see.
What they're probably going to do is a mini tournament. So let's do Ortega and Zombie, and then do the rematch with Volkanovski and Holloway.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea because the winner of that Brian Ortega Korean Zombie fight's obviously
you got to get the shot.
Contender.
Yeah, you got to get the shot after that.
But apparently, what happened was they were sitting not too far away from each other at the Fighters Lounge. So we'll just get into it. So there's a reason why Brian Ortega was so mad, and I'll just play this little clip right here that I got. And this is exactly why Brian Ortega was so mad at Korean Zombie, and not only him, but his interpreter Jay Park, who is a musician in Seoul. And so this is Jay Park interpreting for the Korean Zombie. And of course, it's taken Second, there we go.
So he said, it doesn't matter Holloway, Volkanovski, Ortega, but Ortega already ducked him one time. So he doesn't need to fight a fighter that's ducking him already.
Dang, I didn't know Zombie had this in him. This is great stuff. This is some good trash talk.
I didn't know he had it in him either.
So that's all he said. Is the Korean Zombie's not interested in that fight because he doesn't want to fight a guy that's already ducking him.
Yeah.
And the second that interview came out, I think this was 2 weeks ago on Ariel Helwani's show. The second that interview came out, Brian Ortega tweeted at Jay Park and was saying, "Welcome to the fight game, dude. Don't be surprised if next time I see you, I slap you for that. You can't be talking shit." And Jay Park tweeted back at him saying, "Dude, don't kill the messenger." Essentially,
no kidding.
I'm just the interpreter, dude. And that's what he said. I mean, what else am I supposed to do?
Why
in
do
that type of
Ortega get so
situation?
pissed off about that?
The fighters are so sensitive.
They are sensitive, but I mean, it's an interpreter.
Yeah.
What else is he supposed to do? He's
Yeah.
like, well, hold on. He said some shit talk, so I'm just going to let him say it in his, native language. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So apparently what happened was the Korean Zombie left. He got up and went to the bathroom. He left, went to the bathroom, and then once he left to the bathroom, Brian Ortega got up, approached this Jay Park, and went, "Hey, are you Jay Park?" And Jay Park went, "Yeah," and then open palm slapped him across the face right there and started a big fight. And Angela Hill, multiple fighters were there trying to stop him, trying to break it up. And apparently the Korean Zombie came out real quick after that, tried fighting Brian, and it turned into a big ordeal as the fights are going on. So I think this was right in the middle of the Joanna Jędrzejczyk Zaylee Wang fight.
Damn, that's
So-
a great fight to do something like that. I mean, I get the Yoel,
Yeah.
Izzy fight, but
Yeah,
to do that in one of the greatest fights of all time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly. So wild shit's happening in the background as these fucking amazing title fights are going on. So yeah, crazy, man. So apparently they had to completely just kick Brian Ortega out of the building. He was gone. They got him out. They escorted him out of the building. Same with Korean Zombie. They were both super mad. This is Korean Zombie today on Instagram. Last night, you sat 10 meters away from me in Jay Park. For 2 hours, nothing happened. So I thought everything was fine. But you fucking attacked Jay Park while I went to the bathroom. Jay Park is not a professional fighter, but a musician. You slapped a civilian who merely helped translate. Even worse, you were sitting there waiting until I would be absent and attack Jay Park. It was not a fight like real men would do. What you have done is same as grown up to beat a child. You should have attacked me. If so, I would have not been upset. You are a coward for slapping a musician, not a fighter. You were fucking planned. No, if you fucking planned this to fight me and use my name because people don't remember your name anymore, then I congratulate you. It worked. I will fight you, and I will knock you out, and your fucking face will be bloody. Now your fucking face stays in my mind, and I will fuck you up in the cage. I hope you won't run away from me again. Dude. Yeah.
damn, dude.
Yeah. Crazy.
Holy shit.
There's a lot of hype behind this fight now. This is going to be probably one of the biggest fights of the year. This needs a main event somewhere. It needs to be a main event anywhere.
I gotta
anywhere
say,
in the world.
Zombie, though, he's got to calm down because if Ortega gets him,
Yeah.
he can get him in a guillotine real easy.
Yeah.
And it's lights out.
Yeah. Angela Hill tweeted, happened right in front of me. Felt like I was in high school again, holding people back. Don't do it, man.
Don't do it, man. It's not worth it. It's not worth the 3-day suspension.
Fighters are the most sensitive people on the entire planet. Like, dude, you're going to get in a fist fight with a civilian over that?
Yeah, over
like,
that,
translating? Like, come on,
that's
bro.
wild.
That's don't get me wrong. I love Brian Ortega.
Of course.
I'm a big fan of his, but this is not the first thing he's done where I've been like, dude, that's a fucking dick move, douche move. Like, that's a bitch move. Only people that aren't very good people do shit like that. There was also the Jeremy Stevens versus Yair Rodriguez fight when that was main eventing in Mexico. Yair Rodriguez poked Jeremy Stevens in the eye early in the first. It stopped the fight. It was a no contest. Brian Ortega was in the stands, rowdying the crowd up, leading the crowd in massive cheers.
I remember that.
Calling Jeremy Stevens a bitch for quitting.
Yep.
Because Jeremy Stevens was talking shit to Brian Ortega because apparently Brian Ortega was in Jeremy Stevens. We're ducking that fight because apparently that was supposed to be the main event, not him and Yair Rodriguez. But, who knows? So this isn't the first shady thing Brian Ortega has done. This isn't the first unclassy thing he's done. Like I said, I'm still a fan. I really love watching that guy fight. But if he keeps doing shit like this, like he's going to lose me as a fan real quick. This is just unclassy and really bad. Really makes him look like bad.
Well, maybe he wants to be the heel. Maybe he's trying to be a heel.
I don't know, man. Even name a heel that is attacking people at fights. Not even Colby's doing stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true. Not slapping
You know,
around a civilian.
We're not slapping translators around for merely
translating.
translating, doing their job, literally.
Yeah, good point.
So, I don't know. He's got to relax when it comes to shit like this, because if he keeps doing stuff like this, you know, I've never really seen fines or sanctions come down. But the Korean Zombies team did press charges.
Wow, really?
Yes, that was some news. So that came out. The Korean Zombies chiefs did press charges with the police.
Okay.
Crazy. Only time will tell the outcome of that.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to jail.
No, of course
But
not.
there might be some fines, there might be some fees, there might even be sanctions. You know, you get the police involved, you could have sanctions not only from athletic commissions, but maybe the UFC themselves.
Yeah, it's true.
So hopefully it doesn't come to that.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Yeah. And that was pretty much the craziest thing of the night. But Dana White was giving an interview and talking about some future fights, man. So let's get into a few fight announcements. A lot of fights got announced this last week. A lot of fights. Let's start off with the first one. Triple C, Henry Cejudo, is officially fighting Jose Aldo at UFC 250 in Sao Paulo in Brazil.
Yep.
So that's an official main event. They also announced that Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer is also going to be on that card. So she is finally defending her featherweight belt.
And in Brazil, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome where she's from.
Yeah, so she fights in Brazil. She didn't fight in Brazil last year, I don't think, but she did the year before. So they love bringing Amanda Nunes to Brazil.
Of course.
She sells every time. And Jose
How
Aldo.
does she not? She's the greatest women's fighter of all time, as it sits
yeah.
right now.
Yeah, and one of the biggest Brazilian stars you have, period.
Yeah.
I mean, she's up there with Jose Aldo and all those guys, Demian Maia and all them. That's going to be a great card. They don't go all out on their foreign cards, but I feel like they always bring good fights to Brazil. That's maybe one of the only foreign countries they really bring great fights to every time. They always show out in Brazil. So that'll be a great fight. Another main event, they also announced Curtis Blades is now fighting Alexander Volkov, Drago himself. That's going to be in Saskatchewan, Canada. That'll main event in May, I believe. So can't wait for that fight. Curtis Blades, he didn't really need to take this fight.
He didn't.
He's in title contention already, but he knows because of the heavyweight division, the way the landscape is falling through, the way Ngannou's got to fight. If Ngannou wins that fight, he's gonna need a title shot. So he knows that it's log jammed, and he ain't gonna be getting.
Unfortunately, no, he won't be able to.
No,
not right now anyway.
No, so he's very smart. Says he wants to keep his body moving. Says he wants to stay active. So he's taking this fight, and it's a winnable fight for him.
Oh, unquestionably, of course, it's a winnable fight. I mean, Curtis Blades is one of the best heavyweights in the division right now, in my opinion.
Yeah,
easily top 4, top 5.
And we always thought his striking was suspect, but after he knocked out Junior Dos Santos like that in his last fight, he's an elite striker too now. I mean, he has to be. And yes, it's heavyweight where it's one punch you go fucking sleep, but still.
And it's Curtis Blades, man. I mean, I feel like every time I watch this guy, minus the 2 losses that he have, both of them to Ngannou, I feel like he improves every single fight. Like every single fight, the guy, I'm just like, wow, his striking's improving. Oh, his wrestling's improving anymore, or even more. It's just like he really does baffle me. I think you could be staring at a future champ in 3 to 5 years
for sure. So he's really just banking on that Francis Ngannou Rosenstrike fight. Rosenstrike, he's like, please, man, just knock him the fuck out, please, because as long as this guy's winning, I'm not getting the title shot, and he's not getting that third fight either. So. Just sucks for my man. He might be stuck at 3 for a long time because of this. He might just be screwed. That division is so log jammed. Plus, we have this whole Stipe DC thing going on. DC still to this day doesn't know what's going on. He keeps saying, "I'm only fighting Stipe."
Yeah.
But we don't even know what's going to happen. Stipe said that he's visiting Dr. Soon, but other than that, they still don't have a time.
I gotta be honest with you. There's so many awesome fights upcoming, and the UFC's so busy that like I don't even think about that anymore.
Yeah,
I got to be honest with you. Over the last 2 weeks, that hasn't even been a thought in my head. Like I have literally just accepted that for whatever reason, the heavyweight division is just kind of log jam with the belt.
Yeah,
and that we're probably never going to see that fight. And so all of this bullshit, all this wasted time for nothing because they're probably not going to get that fight signed. Well, so it's like let's just do an interim belt, Francis Ngannou, and maybe Rosenstrike.
So DC started his own show with Ariel Helwani. It's on ESPN Radio, I believe. ESPN Radio, very late at night. I believe it was like 1 a.m. to like 2 p.m. on the East Coast or something.
Yeah, it's like on. That. You can download it on Ariel Helwani's podcast, the MMA show.
Yeah, it was a great show, but he talked about this situation.
I bet he's pissed.
He is pissed.
Yeah.
He says that there have been rumblings of interim titles and stuff like that, him and other fighters and stuff like that. He says they have backup plans. The UFC already has a backup plan. Let's say Stipe can't fight. He just can't defend his belt. Can't do it. They have a backup plan in place. Yes, it's an interim belt. Yes, it's probably the Francis Ngannou belt fight, but DC says he only wants a Stipe fight. I don't think he's not going to fight Francis Ngannou. Why?
What's the point?
What's the point? There's so much risk. And
ton
it's
of
not
risk.
even for the real belt. If you get knocked the fuck out by Francis, not only is that serious brain damage and probably affecting you for the rest of your life,
Especially at his age.
yes, and he's already wanting to retire.
Yeah.
He's way past his own expiration date that he
Which
set
was
2
March
years
of
ago.
last year. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. I feel for DC. I really do.
So do I. It's a real shitty spot to be in.
It is, and Stipe was in the exact same position last year.
Yeah, but
Stipe
okay,
had
you know
to wait
what?
for
Let's
over
not-
a year.
Yeah. But DC took care of that fight right away. As soon as
the Brock situation
Yeah.
fell through.
Steve,
but he still
Stipe's
made him
taking a
wait.
sweet ass time right now.
Yeah, well, he
That's
still
what he's
made him
doing,
wait,
and it's
he's-
bullshit.
It's more of like getting back at him. I feel like,
It's dumb.
but it shouldn't.
not
be,
gonna
though.
win
and
you
it's,
any
and it's not,
fans.
and it's not getting him back because he is injured. We don't know. We're not seeing through his injured eye, and apparently, he is going to the doctor here soon. But there's still zero timetable. Nobody knows. Not Dana White.
I just think
DC.
as the champ, the people deserve. Now, if you're number one contender, I don't think so. Whatever, but if you are the champ, you kind of gotta give the world an update, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like you should be updating because you're the champ, because you hold the highest spot in your weight division. The people should know like what's going on. Are you going to be able to fight? Are you not? Because to put the division in limbo, I just don't think is fair. I don't think it's fair to the organization. I don't think it's fair to the fans. When's the last time Stipe fought?
August.
Of last year.
Yes.
Okay, so he does got some time.
Yeah, and we all got to remember
'Cause I think-
heavyweight's one of these divisions where they only defend their belt once a year.
Yeah. Well,
And
it
it's
should be
always kind of
twice.
been like that.
Yeah.
Cain
But-
Velasquez.
If he's not ready by August, or at least in training camp by August, then no. We got to get an interim belt.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone should sit on a belt for longer than 12 months.
Yeah. Yeah. But think about it. Henry Cejudo in the 125. Shit, that was over 12 months.
Well, that's why
That was
dropped
like
it.
13. They needed to, and they forced him to. But now he's saying he's talking about wanting to go back down and defend it again. Like,
He won't. He'll never cut that weight again.
he's just getting his name out there
Of
as much as
course.
possible. That's really what it is when it comes
Cringe
down to.
City.
Honestly. Well, another fight that got announced is Marlon Moraes is going to fight Petr Yan at a main event. Oh, my. And I believe this main event is in Kazakhstan, so that's going to be the only good fight on the card.
Yep.
There
Definitely.
won't be another fight worth watching on the entire
Nope.
card in Kazakhstan. There's going to be a shit ton of local fighters, a lot of dudes we've never heard of, a lot of dudes whose name we're not even going to attempt to say.
No. That'll be the hardest card of all time
Honestly.
to pronounce names. We're just going to have to go with first names, and
Yeah.
that might even be suspect.
Yeah. Let's talk about that division, man. 135, there's so much just stirring around this division. Now, now we got the Jose Aldo Henry Cejudo fight. So, yes, the belt, it's finally moving along. This division finally is going, but still, if this fight goes away, I'm expecting it to. Henry's probably not going to fight for another 9 months after this. So, this division's still in limbo, in my opinion.
Really? You think
Yeah.
9 months after this? he's
Dude,
not
how
gonna
long
fight?
has it been since Henry has fought? June. And it will be May, so it'll be 11 months since Henry's last fight.
Yeah.
When he fights, and then I'm expecting probably 9 to 6, 8 months, especially with a war. Like you can only imagine it's going to be a war with Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo is a freak, and at 135, and the way he fought Marlon the first time, kept all his cardio, kept all his power going down. It was very impressive, actually.
I got to ask you here because this shit confuses me. So it's Petr Yan versus Marlon Moraes, right?
Yes.
But technically, Petr Yan is the third ranked. Aljamain Sterling is second ranked. Don't you think you should have number 1 and number 2 fight for the next belt?
Yes.
For the next opportunity?
Jose is like 7 or 8.
Right.
And
Yeah.
he lost that fight. Yeah, most people think he won, but he lost. It's still an L on his record. You should at least have to win one fight in that division to get a title shot.
I'm not so upset about Jose Aldo getting that shot because I did think he beat Moraes, who was at the time the number 1 contender in
And
that
still
division.
is. He still has the number
Well,
one.
yeah,
by
he
his
still
name.
does. Yeah, but what I'm saying is Aljamain Sterling should not be the one getting fucked over here.
Yes, and he absolutely
And he
is.
is.
If there was a fight to make with Petr Yan, if Aldo's getting the title shot, which I get it, it's Brazil. If you want to sell in Brazil, you fucking make Aldo in a title shot. He's got to be the main event.
Right.
So they're going to sell that entire stadium out. They're going to get thousands and thousands and thousands of drunk Brazilians freaking out, screaming, saying he's going to murder someone in the cage. So it's going to be awesome. But they should have made that Sterling-Yan fight. That was the fight to make.
It
you
was
could have
the
done
fight
that
to
for an
make.
interim belt, really.
I was getting hyped for that fight.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait for that fight. I was like, when I saw it erupting on Twitter, them going back and forth, I thought the contract was done.
Oh,
I was all
yeah.
excited about it. And then come to find out, we have the Marias and Petr Yan fight, and I'm like, or Petr Yan, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah. And if Moraes beats Yan, Moraes ain't getting another title shot. You think Henry's going to take that rematch? Fuck no.
No way.
Fuck
No
no.
way.
That is a dangerous, dangerous fight for Henry. We all saw how that first round went.
Yep.
And yeah, I don't know how he completely outclassed him second, but Jesus, man, that first round, if Marlon would have kept that pressure and kept those leg kicks going that bad, and the problem with Marlon, and maybe Jose and Henry exposed this, he doesn't like being pressured at all.
No.
You
No.
get up in his face and
If
throw
you gas
hands, you're
him out,
winning. Yes.
you'll gas him out, and he gets tired.
Yep. He can't handle it. He doesn't like going
He
back.
gets overwhelmed.
Yep.
Yeah.
You-
Yeah, I wonder if Aljamain Sterling's going to be the replacement for Jose Aldo if he doesn't make weight.
I don't think so.
What do you think about that?
Ooh, that's
Because
that's
bantamweight, you're talking about Jose Aldo, who's literally fought at featherweight pretty much his whole career.
Yeah, and struggled to make weight there because
Exactly.
he wasn't doing everything that he possibly should have.
To be fair, he did make weight against Marlon Moraes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got to have a backup plan, don't you? This is the
Yeah.
main event in Brazil. You got to have a backup plan.
Yeah.
What if
you
Jose
do.
doesn't make weight? You're just going to fuck. You're going to fuck everything. You're going to fuck everything.
Just like the last weekend and what we were expecting to happen this weekend. Thank God
Well, yeah,
you
but
all
I
made
just
weight.
mean
But
for the division as well.
yeah.
If Jose doesn't even make weight, then you just took an opportunity from someone that could have had that opportunity to win the belt,
Yeah,
who would have
and
made
Henry
weight.
probably doesn't even take the fight, honestly.
No,
I wouldn't if I were him.
no,
That would
last
be
minute
the-
fight. No, he
Yeah,
wouldn't.
that would be the smart decision, but no. So a lot of people are suspecting Aljamain Sterling might actually fight Frankie Edgar. And yeah, Frankie Edgar's a huge name, but is that the name to get you a title shot, especially at 135?
No, dude, and that's him going back down to 135. Frankie Edgar?
He's never been at 135. This will be his first fight, I believe.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying though. He's never been in that division. Okay, whatever. Either way, like
'Cause
just
he
he's
was
still going
supposed
down.
to
He was
fight-
at featherweight.
Yeah, he was
but-
supposed to fight Corey Sandhagen on that Jan and Jan Blachowicz card, but
Oh, duh, you're right. Yeah, Edgar
And then
used to be a 155er. He used to be a lightweight at one point.
yeah, then he took that Korean zombie fight, got knocked out in
Right.
the first. Yeah. So, but they're talking that fight, and they're also talking Corey Sandhagen. This is a rumor: Corey Sandhagen versus Dominic Cruz, possibly. Dominic Cruz is coming back, and he wants to fight on that San Diego card, which is supposed to be another fight announcement. Main eventing Daniel Hooker versus Dustin the Diamond Poirier, maybe.
Ooh.
Holy shit! What
That'd
a
be
great
fun.
fight!
That'd be a
what
lot
a
of
great
fun.
main
What
event.
is that?
It's Dustin Poirier versus.
No, I mean when?
Oh, I don't know when. I think
Oh,
it's.
okay.
I think it's May. It's May or June. San Diego, May or June. Dustin Poirier, Dan Hooker. That'd be a fantastic main
Yes,
event.
it would.
Co-main event. Dominic Cruz, Corey Sandhagen. That'd be a fantastic card. Be
I
an
completely
absolutely
agree.
fantastic
Yeah.
card. Corey Sandhagen is a savage, complete savage. Great striker, great jiu-jitsu guy, and Dominic Cruz, most unorthodox, craziest striker we've ever seen in that division. Probably the greatest bantamweight of all time, arguably. Super hard to argue against that. Look at who he beat. Only the best of the best. Demetrius Johnson, freaking Benavidez, TJ Dillashaw. Or no, he lost that TJ Dillashaw fight, didn't he? Or they 1-1. That's good. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
They fought in
Yeah.
everybody. He's fought in everybody and
He
beaten
has,
the
though.
best. You
Yep.
know, he's still. I know he hasn't fought in years and years, and he's unranked now. But I believe he's still top 5 in the world. You throw him right in there against number 3 Corey Sandhagen. If he gets that win, he gets a title shot.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's it for fight announcements, man. But we're not going to do a second episode because we just don't have all. There's not all too much to talk about in this preview show. This next fight next
No,
week.
there's not. And we just did a 3-hour fight companion, so we actually have more content than normal
Yeah,
to
honestly.
begin with. So
Honestly. But Kevin Lee is fighting Charles Oliveira this next weekend, guys.
Yep.
UFC Fight Night, Brasilia. crazy main event, honestly.
Oh, it's
a
crazy.
great matchup.
It's a great matchup because Charles Oliveira has won 6 straight fights now in the UFC. He's looking fantastic. You know what's crazy? Here's a crazy stat: 64% of his wins, okay, which is 18 just in this category out of his 28 wins, 18 of them come by submission.
Yeah, so he has the most submissions in UFC history,
Which is crazy.
13.
Yep.
Absolutely insane.
18
I think half of
throughout
them
his whole career,
and
too.
most of them are by rear naked choke. So once this guy gets your back, it's essentially over with.
Yeah, you don't want him on your back. It's the worst case scenario.
His jiu-jitsu is filthy. Absolutely ridiculous.
Kevin Lee, man, coming off that head kick knockout against Gillespie.
Yeah, he's riding very high right
is.
now. He's got a lot of hype behind him, dude. That was one of the most insane head kick knockouts I've ever seen. And coming from a guy who isn't really known for head kick knockouts. Like that. Yeah,
no,
Kevin
definitely
Lee.
not.
Yeah, he's super powerful, but he's really more known for his wrestling. He likes to take guys down to the ground, control them, and fuck them up with some huge ground and pound. But dude, you don't want to be taking down this guy. No. You do not want to be taking Oliveira to the ground. You know, that's exactly where he wants to be in most
fights. I definitely think Kevin Lee's going to try to stand and bang. I don't think he's going to be one to try to out-wrestle Oliveira.
Yeah, and this isn't the most stereotypical grappler versus striker matchup. Oliveira is a freaking savage on the feet as well. I believe he won his last fight in the first round by knockout. You know, this guy has really, really improved his striking.
Yeah.
So getting better on the feet, amazing on the ground, absolutely amazing off of his back as well. So even if Kevin Lee does get in a dominant top position, you know, he can still submit you off his back. He's got triangle submissions before.
Yep.
You know, very, very deadly. This guy reminds me a lot of a Tony Ferguson in a way, not so much in the sense of his elbows and craziness and cardio, but mainly his jiu-jitsu. He's very good off his back. Has a very good rubber guard as well.
Definitely.
So very intriguing matchup. Very excited for this matchup. Since we just started right off with the main event, should we just pick this right off the bat?
Yeah, we can do this.
So I'm going with Kevin Lee, 3rd round KO.
Wow, okay.
Yep. I don't think it goes the distance. I think with, you know, he's now training up at TriStar with Firas Zahabi, probably one of the greatest coaches of all time, definitely one of the greatest gyms in the entire world, not only in jiu-jitsu but striking. This guy has all the skills to be a world champion. What he was lacking in the past was a coach to help him put it all together.
Well, and that's because one of his coaches...
Yeah, his head coach passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah, of a heart attack, I believe. And it really, really was a huge detriment to Kevin Lee's career because he was just running around doing his own thing. He never really had someone to tell him, hey, this is what you need to do here. Yeah. You know, you got to put this together in this way. He was just doing his own thing with his own guys. And you could absolutely.
Well, there was a point in his career too. I mean, you look at his resume. There was one time through 2016 to 2017, he won 5 fights within that time period, beating guys like Jake Matthews, Magomed Mustafayev, Francisco Trinaldo, Michael Chiesa. Like, that's an impressive resume.
Very impressive.
You know, and then, you know, obviously the loss to Tony Ferguson. Mm-hmm. He comes back, beats Barboza, and then loses to Alaquinta and Rafael Dos Anjos.
And he completely outclassed Barboza, made him look ridiculous. I mean, Khabib dominated Barboza from start to finish, but when Kevin Lee did that to Barboza, he did it worse than Khabib did. He made that ground and pound nasty.
It was.
He did way more damage than Khabib could do.
And you could just tell Barboza, gasping for air. He was so tired.
The doctors had to stop that fight.
It, yeah.
Barboza did not want it to be stopped. He was such a savage. He was going to keep going until he was literally
he's a fighter's
dead.
fighter, yeah, for sure.
Crazy matchup. I'm so excited for Kevin Lee and his future. I'm expecting after this knockout, he's probably might get it. He's going to call out a top 5 opponent, and he deserves it.
Yeah.
I think he's a top 5 lightweight. He's still pretty low ranked just because, you know, he did move up to RDA and took that loss, but RDA is just a freaking savage. And he should not be at 170. He's a small 170, but dude, you cannot hang your head down after a loss to that man. No. That man is a fucking savage. Yeah. So
I have a different pick. I'm going with Charles Oliveira. I'm going 2nd round submission.
Okay. Yep. And it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at the guy's record.
Exactly.
Who's got more submissions in the UFC than Oliveira? Oh, nobody.
Oh, nobody. Okay. Well, then that sounds like a good one.
Makes sense.
So let's jump back. Let's jump back to the prelim fights.
Okay. So first prelim.
Or do you just want to go to co-main? Do you want to go down or up?
Nah, let's just start with the prelim. Why not?
Okay.
I was just thinking about that fight, dude.
Yeah, Jussier, Formiga.
Brandon Moreno. Woo! That's a great fight.
It is a great fight.
That's a great fight. That's like a savage Brazilian versus a savage Mexican that could take the most serious damage ever and dish it out at the same time.
Yep.
This is going to be a barn burner, in my opinion. This fight ain't going to the ground.
Really? You don't think so?
No, this fight's not going to the ground. This fight is going to be just on the feet, banging. This might be one of the greatest flyweight fights you can make at the moment, other than maybe a Formiga-Figueiredo rematch.
Right.
Formiga's huge.
Moreno, though, he's no joke on the ground. He's got 10 submissions out of his 16 wins. 10 of them have come by submission.
Oh, so he's a savage on the ground as well.
Yes.
But when you get two great grapplers like this, I mean, I don't know if he's a black belt or not, but Formiga is. So when you got two black belts, they tend to bang. You know, they tend to stand and bang. So that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting them to stand and bang. And this could be a potential fight of the night.
Oh, yeah. And Jussier Formiga is coming off that loss to Joseph Benavidez, who just lost the title fight, the vacant flyweight title fight against Figueiredo.
Yeah, so he's really looking to bounce back and get that victory.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to take Formiga, second round TKO.
Really?
I think he finishes Moreno on the feet. For Moreno is so fucking tough. Like, this guy embodies Mexican-style boxing because he could just freaking stand in the pocket and trade and eat big shots, and he'll eat a shot to land a shot. And it can be very dangerous playing that game, especially with a man like Formiga. This is going to be a very risky fight for him.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go with, Brandon Moreno has been coming off. He's the Askarov, which is the guy you brought up, Ankalaev, remember? Yeah. Askarov. That was a draw, and then he beat Kai Kara France by decision. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go Moreno, third round TKO. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go decision.
Moreno by decision?
Moreno decision.
Yeah. This will be a great fight. Absolute great fight. Early fight of the night. You know, it's a prelim fight. This will be main event on ESPN Plus prelims. It'd be nice if they did more of these cards with, I believe the first ESPN Plus card ever, they had the prelims on ESPN. They don't do that so much.
No, they don't.
You know, everything's on ESPN Plus when it's an ESPN Plus main card, so a little strange. If you want to expose more of the sport, put more stuff on ESPN, dude. They're only going to have one fight on ESPN coming up. They should have multiple.
I know. I don't know why they don't do more.
They need to be doing more.
It would be a better advertising.
Maybe ESPN's just making too much money with, college basketball and stuff like that. They're just waiting for maybe more lulls, maybe when baseball season starts and stuff like that. And I'm just shitting on baseball. so fucking boring. I can't watch that shit.
So let's talk about the Gilbert Burns Demian Maia fight.
Oh, do you want to? So you're going straight to the co-main?
Oh, is that the co-main?
Yeah,
oh, my bad. Yeah, so Francisco Trinaldo is the next
Trinaldo versus John Makdessi. Trinaldo is just a vet, man. That guy's 72 years old.
Minus 31.
Oh, okay. That was close.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. He's 41. Yeah, he's 41 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he looks 70.
He does. 24-7. Record 24-7. His last win against Bobby Green.
Yeah, I remember that fight. Mm-hmm. I remember that fight. And he also lost to Alexander Hernandez. I remember that fight as well. He was pissed the fuck off after the Alexander Hernandez that fight. He thought he won that fight. That was a great fight. He did.
It was.
Yeah. That guy's just tough. And he kind of reminds me a little bit of a Yoel, not just because of his age, but also his fighting style. Mm-hmm. He's kind of real explosive, and he's super powerful guy for 155. Huge 155er. Not the tallest definitely. 155er, but jacked. Thick. Yeah, very jacked. Very jacked. So I'm just going to pick this fight right off the bat. John Makdessi. Oh, let me talk about him a little bit. John Makdessi, he's got very unorthodox striking. Very strange striking, but that's very good. Yeah. Very, very good kickboxing. Great kicks, great body kicks, great teep kicks. Great hands as well, and a lot of power. Yeah, I think he fought at 145, correct?
That I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. He's a legit lightweight though. He's a good guy. He's a good dude. He's a really good striker, knocking dudes out. So he has. I believe he took a 2-year hiatus. He hasn't fought in a while. He fought recently.
His last fight was against Jesus Pinedo, March 23rd, 2019. That was on that Thompson Pettis card.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he's not fighting all the time.
Well, that was one. So that was literally last year. So he took a year off. Yeah.
Yeah. John Makdessi, if he wants to get his number by his name, because he used to be top 15 guy. He used to be a legit guy, real known name.
He does typically fight just once a year, though.
Yeah. You can't be
because his fight before that, he beat Ross Pearson. Yeah, July 28th. That was at Alvarez. That's when you know it's old. Alvarez Poirier 2 fight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so dude, you got to be fighting more often.
You got to be more active.
You've got to be more active. If you want to be a top 15 guy, you got to be doing that. Like Santiago Ponzinibbio hasn't fought in 2 fucking years. Like, what is he even doing? There must be some USADA situation going on there or something.
Makdessi, though, he trains out of Rufus Sports, so he's over there with Duke Rufus.
Oh, so he's training with Savages,
Yeah,
Paul Felder, freaking,
the Pettis brothers.
Ben Askren, all of them. They all train with Duke Rufus. So I'm going John Makdessi, unanimous decision. You know, I just don't have my faith in Trinaldo. I think he's great on the ground, great on his feet. But John Makdessi is just, I believe his takedown defense will be good enough to keep it off the ground, and his striking, and he could use his length and be a little bit John Jones, Israel Adesanya, might be able to keep it on the outside. So I'm going John Makdessi, unanimous decision.
Okay, I'm going to go Makdessi, 3rd round TKO. I think he's going to tire him out.
Okay.
You know, I don't think Francisco Trinaldo has the best cardio in the world.
Yeah, I don't think he does either. No. That's a good point. Johnny Walker,
Yeah.
Nikita Krylov. Ooh,
This
my boy's
is gonna
back.
be fun.
My boy is
Yeah.
back. Can't wait. I'm just going to give my prediction right now just because how wild it is. 1st round KO, Johnny Walker.
Wow.
Yep, I think he's going to come
That's
back in
the most
spectacular
surprising pick I've ever heard.
Honestly.
I
Flying
think if
knee
you're
in
gonna
30
pick- yeah.
seconds.
I think if you're ever going to pick Johnny Walker, it's got to be like an instant knockout.
Yeah, it's got to be. After that, who did he send to the Shadow Realm? Freaking the Canadian guy, Misha Serkinov.
Yeah.
That was a crazy knockout.
God
just
damn.
flying kneed him real quick. And it was after a spinning back fist of that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember his name, but that was an insane knockout too. Johnny Walker is so explosive.
Yes, he is.
He reminds me of a Yoel Romero that actually swings.
Well, he's a
Take some
hell of a lot
lessons, Yoel.
lengthier. Yeah, he's a hell of a lot lengthier than Yoel, too.
Oh, yeah. He's fucking
Got
huge.
a huge reach.
He's huge for 205, man.
And that's why I was so impressed with Corey Anderson. That's why I feel so bad for him with his recent loss because, man, he looked fantastic against Johnny Walker.
He really did.
With that Polish power, man.
Yeah.
Can't fuck with it.
Yeah, cannot fuck with that Jan's power. But Johnny Walker, he might have been exposed in that fight, man. He did not like having pressure in his face. He did not like people just getting in his face and throwing punches, which is probably the way you might have to beat him. And Nikita Krylov is no fucking joke.
No, his last fight was Glover Teixeira. I remember that fight. That was a split decision.
Yeah,
that was a
great
hard-fought fight. Yeah,
great
that was
fight.
a great fight.
Nikita's got a great chin, great, good, clean boxing, pretty good kicks as well. And his jiu-jitsu is surprisingly amazing. This guy's surprisingly very, very good on the ground.
Yeah.
Very good.
He submitted
very
Oleg
dangerous.
St. Peru.
Yes, by freaking Von Flute choke. If there's somebody that knows how to defend a Von Flute choke, it's OSP. Okay? And for you to submit OSP with his fucking choke, that's insane. That's honestly insane. Nikita Krylov has got next level squeeze with his submissions. So, you know, at any point, Johnny Walker, you know, even if they do go to the ground, Johnny Walker's in trouble.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, this is a great matchup for him. This is we're gonna find out if Johnny Walker is gonna be able to deal with some pressure in his face, deal with some heat, and deal with a guy that can submit him, can knock him out, and it's a very well-rounded guy. And this is a great matchup. It really is.
Yeah,
we're gonna find out if Johnny Walker can come back after that Corey Anderson knockout. You know, Corey might have stolen his soul.
Yeah, he might have.
We'll find out.
But to be fair, it was kind of called on its feet, that fight.
Yeah.
The ref stepped in before you went into the shadow realm, by all means. You know?
True.
So we'll see.
The ref saved him.
So you got Johnny Walker, 1st round KO.
I'm going 1st round KO. Johnny Walker, I'm believing in him. I got my faith.
Okay. This is hard for me. I want to pick Johnny Walker, but I also need points. So I'm going to go with Nikita Krylov. I'm going to go 1st round submission.
Oh, shit. That'd be crazy.
It would be crazy.
That'd be crazy. He gets him into Von Flue, just chokes him right up. Dude, that might be a hype killer. That'd be done. That'd be it for Johnny. Be like, nah, just cut him right there.
Yeah, they're like, sorry, boss. You're not coming back in.
He's like, man, I was just feeling a flying knee in my next fight. He's like, nah, that shit don't matter, bro. You're gone. Yeah, that goes into the co-main event of the evening, man. Oh, shit. No, we almost forgot. We almost forgot my boy, Renato Moicano versus my favorite fighter ever, Damir.
My favorite fighter ever, Damir Hadzovic.
Hadzovic. This guy is a savage. I watch every single one of his fights.
I love him. I'm such a big fan.
I'm his biggest fan. I tweet him every day.
It's just not fair. This guy just wants to fight like everyone else. We don't know who the fuck he is.
I have no idea who this guy is.
I don't know either.
I started watching one of his fights at one of his most recent win, his TKO over Marco Polo Reyes. And I started watching it at my house, and I just got sidetracked. I couldn't
Just
finish
a
it.
forgettable.
I mean, he looked good. I'm not gonna lie. Both the guys are trading and they're throwing nice hands, and his boxing looked pretty clean. But I mean, let's be real. If you're fighting a guy like Renato Moicano,
you better be ready.
You best be ready for some kicks, man. He's gonna teep kick you in the body. He's gonna make you fucking hurt. And he's an unranked lightweight, but Moicano's coming up from featherweight, so you never know. Hadzovic, he's a thick boy. He's a big 155er, but look at Brad Riddell. Yeah. Brad Riddell just moved up to 155 from 145 and did not look like he.
He's moving up, isn't he?
Yeah, Moicano is. So
which I don't know if that's the best move for him.
And he was a top 5 featherweight.
Yeah, he was.
But
I guess he did TKO punches Jose Aldo and Chan Sung Jung, both TKO. That's how he lost. His last
Korean
2
Zombie
fights.
beat him?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a beat for some reason.
Moicano versus the Korean Zombie. That was June 22nd, 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, but he got knocked out in that one too by punches, TKO. So I think after those 2 losses, maybe the weight cut was too much. Maybe it just depleted him.
It could be. That's definitely, and more fighters really at 145 are natural lightweights. They need to be fighting 155. Look at freaking Max Holloway is probably the prime example. That boy should be at 155.
Yes, he should.
He really should. Yep. He's freaking cutting ridiculous amounts of weight. Probably 40 pounds, honestly.
When he gets he puts another 10 pounds of muscle on too. He could be strong. He's long and lengthy and quick, and he just has tremendous reads.
Yeah, he reminds me of a lot of a Tony Ferguson, but with better boxing. Yeah,
totally.
And a little bit of a weirder style. Not the power of Tony Ferguson, but definitely the boxing aspect. But I'm very intrigued with this fight, actually. Freaking Moicano's a savage striker, and this guy looks like he's a really tough dude, could take a lot of damage. I'm just going to go Moicano, unanimous decision. I think he might surprise a lot of us. He might look really good at 155. He might look like a guy that needs to stay at 155.
Yeah. I'm going to pick, I don't know. I don't know the other guy, so it's really hard for me to go. I'm going to go Moicano. I'll go 3rd round TKO.
Okay. He's going to get the finish.
Yep, sure.
Yeah, why not? Co-main event, Demian Maia, Gilbert Burns. God damn. This is set up for being probably the greatest grappling matchup they could have.
Totally, yeah. In this division, at least, as it sits right now.
Gilbert Burns, people don't talk about his grappling just because he's a savage and likes to strike, but his grappling, it might be some of the best in the entire UFC. He's a fucking savage on the ground, and he never goes down to the ground anymore because he likes to stand and bang.
Yeah, he does. He likes to stand and bang. Over his last few fights, it's the last 2 went to decision.
Yeah. He's one of the best jiu-jitsu guys in all of the UFC, but he's not known as a jiu-jitsu guy in the UFC, which is wild. And he's most definitely top 5, easily top 5 jiu-jitsu practitioner, all of the UFC, but he doesn't use it. Yeah.
Well, almost half of his fights early on. I mean, in the early part of his career, he was getting submissions left and right. He has 8 submissions over his 17 wins.
Yeah. I think he's just so crazy that maybe he's like, man, fuck it.
He's like,
it looks too easy. I want to make it more entertaining for the fans.
Some guys don't really care about, titles and stuff. They just want to fight.
Yeah. Wild. Money. This man's wild.
I mean, not to say that he doesn't care about getting the title, but some guys are like that. It's crazy.
He's an absolute wild man. Loves to go in there and just fucking trade. When he fought Dan Hooker and was just trading hook for hook with that man.
Yep.
Dude, no wonder he got knocked out in the first round because you just cannot do that. That's not the way you want to fight a Dan Hooker. You cannot just go in there and start trading in the pocket, wild hooks. And that's what he likes to do, though.
Yeah,
he really enjoys doing it. I mean, it's what he wants to do. And he moved up to 170. That's pretty wild. He didn't look like the biggest 170 guy ever, but it's not his first fight at 170.
No, it's not.
And he's on a 2-fight winning streak at 170. 4-fight winning streak overall. But look who he beat at lightweight. Oven, Aubin, Mercier. That guy's a freaking savage. I don't know who the other guy he beat.
Mike Davis.
Mike Davis
and Aleksei Kunchenko.
I've never heard of that guy.
Yeah. And then Gunnar Nelson.
Gunnar Nelson, but again, and he choked out Gunnar Nelson.
He did.
He submitted Gunnar Nelson.
No, he did not submit Gunnar Nelson. That was a decision.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, it was.
I thought he submitted him. Yep. Whatever, but either way, dude. And he out-grappled him. I remember that for sure.
Oh, definitely.
And if you're going to out-grapple Gunnar Nelson, geez, like that's top-tier grappler in the entire division. We're about to find out. He might, we'll see. If they end up going to the ground, and that's all Demian Maia wants to do.
Totally. It's just jiu-jitsu. He doesn't want to stand and bang.
No, if Demian
Maia, 42.
Yeah, if Demian Maia gets into a striking matchup with Gilbert Burns, he's going to sleep.
Yeah, for sure.
But if he gets down to the ground, this is going to be the most interesting fight you could probably make at 170, period. You know, whoever wins this fight, we all said between Demian Maia, Ben Askren, whoever wins that fight will be the greatest grappler in MMA of all time. This might be it.
Yeah.
This might be the grappling match that was suspected for that Ben Askren match. This is going to be a great scrambles, great transitions, and just classic Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on display. And I'm so happy this is co-main because the main event will probably be a stand-up battle, and then we get a co-main event of just two great grapplers, hopefully. Hopefully. I have a feeling this might stay on the feet, though.
Yeah, I think it will, too. Well, stay on the feet? No, I think it's going to the. I think it's going to the canvas. I think it's going to the ground for sure.
I hope it does because that's going to be so much more entertaining, in my opinion. Because I do not want to see Demian Maia try to strike with this guy.
No,
he's going to get fucking knocked out real quick if that happens. Yeah. So I got to make a pick. This is a very tough fight to pick. But
it's not a tough one for me.
I think it goes a distance. I'm going to go Demian Maia unanimous decision.
Oh, okay. I have a second round submission. Demian Maia. I have a lot of submissions on this card. Yeah.
Well, we can't be shocked. It's Brazil.
It is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go another submission, second round. I think Demian Maia gets it done.
That'd be wild.
It would be.
That'd be wild. The hardest part with Demian Maia, in my opinion, is his wrestling. Yeah, he's probably the greatest wrestler that's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist. But is he good enough to take Gilbert down and control him on the ground? I think he's most definitely good enough to do that, but I find it very, very hard to see Demian Maia being able to pull off the submission. And I was so ready to give him that submission because I think it's going to be 3 rounds of him out-grappling Gilbert.
Yeah.
And maybe him outclassing him completely on the ground. But Gilbert, man, like I said, he's probably top 3, top 5 in the entire world when it comes to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I think he'll know what to do to maybe keep from going to sleep. But we'll find out, man.
Yes, we will.
This will be a great grappling matchup. So hopefully it doesn't go on the feet. Because it would be a damn shame, honestly.
It would be.
You know, I just want to see some great grappling because, you know, these last few fights, we've been getting spoiled with these wars, man.
Yeah,
We're getting spoiled with wars. Let's see a nice grappling matchup.
Yeah. Let's take
no
it
one needs
easy.
to take
No
it so much
die.
damage,
Yeah.
you know. Let's just see some people get choked out. You know, maybe some arms get ripped off. You know, not too much nasty stuff.
Yeah. This card starts at 5 p.m. Pacific time, too.
That's going to be nice.
5 p.m. here, prelims at 2 p.m. So
that's going to be nice.
It should be all wrapped up by like 8 p.m.
Yeah, I'm excited for that because I don't like it when, I do kind of like it when cards get off at 10, but sometimes you just want to go to bed early.
Yeah. And then we'll do a preview show next week for the Tyron Woodley, Leon Edwards card. Freaking stoked about that fight.
That'll be a great fight.
But that card starts at 1 p.m. Prelims start at 10 a.m. So
perfect.
That'll be an early morning for us.
Perfect. We can get drunk at noon and totally have an excuse for it.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Alrighty. Well, that's I think that about wraps it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, I just got one quick thing to say. This man gave us a shout out on his podcast 2 weeks ago, and I am so sorry, boss. I've forgotten every fucking time. I told you I'd give you a shout out. Brandon, I don't remember your last name. Cadil, I think, with Drinks with Brandon on iTunes. Guys, check it out. It's a good podcast. Guy just rants, and he's absolutely hilarious. Gave us a huge shout out. Said he loves MMA and loves George St. Pierre, apparently. And he's a redneck. Which shocked me because he loves a Frenchie.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Alrighty.
Yeah. Check us out, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at The Church of MMA, guys. We're going to post funny memes. We're going to make you laugh. We're going to hit you up.
Be sure to check out our YouTube channel as well. Just type in The Church of MMA. We are there. You can find our podcast on all platforms, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. My name is Mason Knight. That
is Tabor Cragen.
And this is The Church of MMA.
Peace.